And my panel is here. We're going to be joined by Haley Robson in just a few moments, a survivor who was in Washington today for this momentous vote. Barry, that vote, 427 to 1. Even a week ago, days ago, nobody would have thought such a thing could happen. And here we are, talk about a tsunami. Domino doesn't even capture what has just happened. Did you ever think you'd see this?
Erin, this is really a special, special day for the survivors. I remember sitting when Judge Berman allowed 24 of the survivors to come into his court after Jeffrey Epstein's death to make victim impact statements. It was very, very emotional, very moving. And today, the lawmakers applauding the survivors who were up in the House gallery, and they in turn applauding the lawmakers below. This was really a special day. And now it's time to do the work. Now it's time to get into those files. And despite the redactions, let's really see what's in there.
And to see what we get. Now, Tara, to this point, you published a brand new piece in the Red Letter on your Substack, which I hope everyone will read in full. But in it, you say you're worried that today may be, in your words, short-lived, and that Trump or the DOJ could find ways to not release the files, right? Then there's this issue of redactions. What if something like this happens, right? Either it's slow-walked or there's massive redactions, or would the level of outrage force the issue as it has now with the vote itself?
I would hope so. I mean, I know that a lot of people who are dedicated to this story and to justice have already been very furious about the fact that all we have seen so far when the DOJ hands over anything is just redactions, black lines,
right.
Useless papers, documents that are completely useless. Bloomberg actually reported back in August that when they FOIA'd, which is a Freedom of Information request, they asked the FBI to hand over Epstein documents. They had actually redacted President Trump's name. Files that previously had his name were redacted. So they've already been working on this right now. Hundreds of people have been going through and looking at the names of prominent men. So I have to assume that those people who are working on the Freedom of Information request, which is our freedom and right as Americans to know what the government is holding on to, have already started this process back in July when they announced that there was nothing here, case closed. Although now the case has been reopened, and that's another way they could stop this.
Right, which is a crucial point that I know you've raised. I mean, Barry, Republican Congressman Thomas Massie said this about, the people that, from what he knows, now keep in mind, what Massie knows, Garcia knows, Khanna knows, is what the House Oversight Committee has seen. And that is important stuff, but it is nothing compared to what the DOJ has. It's not as if they've seen that and can't talk about it. They have not seen that. So from what he has actually seen, he said this.
That list also includes at least 19 other individuals, one Hollywood producer worth a few $100 million, one royal prince, one high-profile individual in the music industry, one very prominent banker, one high-profile government official, one high-profile former politician, one owner of a car company in Italy, one rock star, one magician, at least 6 billionaires, including a billionaire from Canada. We know these people exist in the FBI files.
And we also know that there are likely many more than the ones he just described, right? Again, back to your crucial point, if you don't get just sheets of paper with black.
Well, listen, Erin, Representative Massie was referring to the SDNY summary statements of witnesses and suspects. They're aware of 20 individuals, and we need to see the files to see what the FBI has done over the years in an attempt to corroborate the stories of the survivors against these men.
Right.
That material, I know, is buried in those files. We may not get the names, but we hopefully will get a sense of what they did to apprehend these individuals. And if nobody else besides Ghislaine Maxwell was apprehended, in addition to Jeffrey Epstein, then why not?
Right.
And we need to know the answers to that.
I mean, you look at Larry Summers, and you think of a life that was just completely upended because of the emails that came out from the estate. To think about what could happen to so many more individuals, way beyond those 19 that Thomas Massie is referring to. The Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, in that interview that he gave, where he talked about how he went in that house and was offered, you got to get the massage, the right kind, how disgusted he was. He had a theory about what Jeffrey Epstein was doing, which goes right to the heart of these files. Here's what he said.
I assume way back when they traded those videos in exchange for him getting that 18-month sentence, which allowed him to have visits and be out of jail. I mean, he's a serial sex offender. How could he get 18 months and be able to go to his office during the day and have visitors and stuff? It must have been a trade. So my assumption, I have no knowledge, but my assumption is there was a trade for the videos because there were people on those videos.
So do you think there are a lot of videos and that's part of this? I mean, that's a totally different sort of thing to consider what that would be in terms of release.
Oh, that's absolutely a part of the evidence that they are holding on to right now. Even when they raided his house before the first arrest in Palm Beach, they took out tons of video footage. The survivors that I've talked to have said that they always felt like they were being recorded. If you look inside the New York Times article, when they just did an entire expose on his house, you saw cameras everywhere, and even in the bedrooms. He was running a almost KGB style blackmail operation. Now, is this something that the government found to be useful? We also know, based on reporting from Vicky Ward and others, that he was actually an informant for the FBI on the financial towers Ponzi scheme that he was a partner in. Stephen Hoffenberg, his partner, spent the rest of his life in prison. Jeffrey Epstein did not. And then he helped with another case, a Bear Stearns case, which is in actual like FBI files. So he may have been a helpful asset, like a Whitey Bulger-type. And that would be something that we could see in the files, know definitively if they saw him to be an important enough source or asset, or maybe they were working on cases that involved these men. I mean, it's not going to make the Department of Justice look good, whatever they did. And we'll find out soon enough, hopefully.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you both very much on this momentous day.
That was another episode of the Tara Palmeri Show. If you like this show, please subscribe, rate it, share it with all your friends. If you want to support my independent journalism and get my exclusive reporting straight to your inbox, go to tarapalmeri.com. That's TARAPALMERI.com. Sign up for my newsletter, The Red Letter. That is how you keep me in business. I want to thank my producer, Eric Abinate, Abby Baker, who does my research and social media, and Adam Stewart on the graphics. See you again tomorrow.